Good morning, good afternoon. We are working on page 122, activity 2.9. Please number your learning targets at the top. Number 1, we are going to identify and record information relevant to a research question from a documentary film. We are going to watch another documentary film, and then you have to identify and record relevant information. You are then going to do number 2, participate in a collaborative discussion about research findings with your group. As we go throughout this activity, you're going to be note-taking and webbing. You're going to use this graphic organizer below to fill out the information from the video. So the first section is 0.00 to 0.56, so basically the first minute. Your personal response, your shoulder partner's response goes under the peer section, and evidence that you are pulling out. So what evidence answers your research question? What new research questions do you have? You're filling out your evidence here. What evidence answers your research questions? What new questions do you have? So I'm going to show the first section of the movie is the first minute. This is basically the second minute. So you're filling these graphs out. Please draw quotes under evidence because you have to pull stuff out of the video as I show it. At the end, you're going to be writing an expository writing prompt. Think about how the two short documentaries you have viewed are alike. So you're comparing. How are they the same? Write a brief comparison in which you use the evidence to show how the two films treat topics in a similar way. Be sure to, please number this number 1, introduce your topic clearly and develop it with relevant details and examples. Number 2, use transition words to create cohesion and clarify ideas. Number 3, use precise language and formal style. So you're going to write a thesis in which you're comparing, showing similarities between two documentaries. Number 2, use transitions. 3, use precise language or diction and formal style. Think about your audience. 2 paragraphs, 5 sentences. After you do all of this, you're going to reread your notes after viewing both films. Summarize the main points made by the documentary makers. So 4 things at the bottom. I'm going to go back up to the top, and we are going to watch the first section of the video. So I'm going to have you record evidence. I'm going to show the first part and then stop it. Here we go.
Learning and lessons, but how about advertising? A major supermarket has hit the headlines because it's been trying to get its brand into schools. It's all in an effort to convince more families to shop there, but is it right? Well, either way, it's certainly not new. On the drive into school each day, you're likely to see dozens of ads. But how many do you expect to see once you get to school? None? Think again. Schools are filled with hundreds of kids, and kids are pretty powerful. Because not only do you spend money on all sorts of things, from toys to food to music, you also have some power over what your parents buy. And that power is something businesses would love to be able to influence.
Now, Coles Sports for Schools is back.
One company, Coles, has hit the headlines for doing just that. It's been running a promotion that lets schools get free sporting equipment in exchange for vouchers from their checkouts. And 7,005.
Okay, please fill out the first box. So in your SpringBoard book, you have this first box. Please fill it out with your shoulder partner. Please write your response, your peer response, and then fill out evidence. I'm going to play the second part of the video. So that one goes to 2:43, so we'll watch the second clip.
500 schools have signed on to take part.
So come on, Australia, and make sure your school is registered.
But some people are fired up about it because the promotion encourages kids to pester their parents into shopping there. And Coles managers have visited a school giving out prizes to kids who can sing the jingle. Some people are saying that this kind of school advertising is just a way to brainwash kids in the only place ads can't usually reach them, the classroom. Whether you think it's dodgy or not, the deal isn't all that great either way. Parents would have to spend $700 just to get a $3 skipping rope for their school. A real AFL ball would cost over $30,000, and a tennis kit a whopping $101,500. But the bigger issue of advertising in schools isn't all about expensive sporting gear. Rival supermarket Woolworths has a similar school rewards program called Earn and Learn, which deals in books. And speaking of books, you'd be pretty familiar with Kids Book Club. This catalogue might seem like a way to encourage reading, but a lot of it is just getting kids to buy a product. And schools are encouraged to take part because they can get a cut of the sales. There's also packs of branded products that get given out in kids' health class, and new technology at schools that's heavily sponsored. But that's nothing compared to the amount of school advertising in America.
Okay, please fill out box number 2 in your book. So, Cole's Sports for Schools, your response, your peer response, your evidence. Please fill that out. Watch the third section, so please record your personal response, your peer response, and evidence as I show this piece of the video.
Documentary shows ads for pizzas and soft drink are on the walls, on lockers, and on school buses. Textbooks have ads in them too. This one asks you to work out the volume of Frosty Flakes. Here you have to find the circumference of an Oreo biscuit and do your fractions using M&Ms. And how about a KFC and Macca's quiz? Even your report card can earn you a Happy Meal. The issue of advertising in schools has become such a big one, it even led The Simpsons to make jokes about how far it might go in the future.
Now turn to the next problem. If you have 3 Pepsis and drink 1, how much more refreshed are you? You, the redhead in the Chicago school system?
Pepsi?
Partial credit.
All this controversy has made some schools decide to take a stand against classroom ads. But of course, there is a flip side to this anti-ad debate.
Let's buy Woolies.
This advertising helps.
Okay, please fill out the third box in your SpringBoard book. And I'm going to show the last clip. The last clip you're doing is until the end of the movie, but you're filling out your personal response, peer response, and evidence.
Pay for school equipment and supplies, whether it be sports gear, computer gear, or even whole buildings. And that helps students get the most from their schooling, especially in poorer areas where the school might not be able to buy everything they would like to. So, which is better? Going without ads or going without?
This one actually opens the gym.
Fill out the last box, your personal response, peer response, and evidence. Then at the bottom you have an expository writing prompt. Think about how the 2 short documentaries you have viewed are alike. Write a brief comparison in which you use evidence to show how the 2 films treat topics in similar ways. Be sure to introduce your topic clearly, so you need a thesis. Number 1, write a thesis in which you're comparing, showing similarities between 2 documentaries. Number 2, use transitions. Number 3, use precise language or diction and formal style. Think about your audience. So you're going to write a short paragraph with all 3 of these things. I am going to give you, short 2 paragraphs, 5 sentences each with all of those things. I'm going to give you 10 minutes to do this. Ready, set, go. And then the last piece, you have to summarize the main points of the documentaries that you watch. So 4 things that you learned out of both documentaries. Couple minutes. Ready, set, go.